What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name's Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. We're going to go for about an hour 15, hour and a half today talking sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Lots to get into today. There's a new head coach out in the market right now that Spurs fans suddenly have a little bit of interest in. Michael Malone out with the Denver Nuggets. We'll talk about that. Would he be a good fit with the Spurs? We have a poll on Twitter asking the question, who do you want as the Spurs head coach next season? Taylor Jenkins, Mike Malone. Do you want Greg Popovich to come back? Do you want Mitch Johnson to come back? We'll get into that. Lots to get into. Luka Doncic got thrown out yesterday, yelling with a fan. Fan thought that the curse words were directed at him. What's going on when it comes to all that? Joe, how are you doing this morning, my man?
Doing good, man. I had to go and get me something to eat. I was afraid that I wasn't going to make it back in time. So I know it's not a popular opinion, but I had to go and get me some Whataburger because it's the closest thing to me right here. Just
Dude,
around.
what'd you get from Whataburger, man, for breakfast? Because I had a taquito from there the other day, and I took one bite, and the taquito evaporated, dude. It just fell all in my lap.
No, man. My go-to over there is going to be either the breakfast on a bun, the sausage breakfast on a bun, and I always have to get the salsa verde and put it on there.
Nice.
Or I get the sausage breakfast bowl, and I get like 4 packets of salsa verde, and I just pour it in there. And it's a mashup of everything, dude. They got gravy, biscuits, hash browns, eggs, sausage, cheese, and then you mix it all up together. Hey, man, it's a bachelor's breakfast, brother.
There you go. I made myself this morning some cheesy eggs, man, with some pico de gallo on top.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was telling Chica last night that I was watching that TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and one of the characters, Boyle, on that character, the dorky guy who really likes food, likes cooking, says when you scramble eggs, you scramble it at a very, very low heat. And you know what? I had never thought about that because one of the other characters, which is the captain, he liked cooking his eggs really fast, right? He would put it on there with a very high heat. He says it cooks faster. And Boyle was like, no, what you've got to do is cook it at a super low temperature because that makes the eggs fluffy. Joe, it does, man. Now, instead of cooking my eggs in 2 minutes, it takes 5 or 6, but it's a lot better. It fluffs out. It's weird. I had no idea.
I want to give a shout out here, man. We got the Sports Cave watching us. There's our friends of the show as well. So make sure you go and check out Biggest Puma, Sam Freese.
Very nice.
What's up, Puma? They do their thing, man. They have their YouTube channel, so make sure you go and check out the Sports Cave and subscribe to their YouTube channel. Great bunch of guys. LG's in the chat as well, so I want to go ahead and give him a shout out. What's up, LG? Thanks for joining me about a week ago, being a co-host here when Mike was out. Appreciate you, man.
Sam Salinas reaches out to us on our chat, powered by MCS General Contracting, saying, "Did Jimenez just say taquito? The taquito. I get it. It's a taquito in real life, but if it's from Whataburger, it's a taquito.
It's a taquito."
Hey, happiest of birthdays to our man James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. If you want to show my Twitter account, I posted some photos of him earlier today. I talked to Pledge this morning. He has an open invitation to jump on the podcast today. Maybe he can make it, but happy birthday to Pledge. Rudy J likes using the phrase one of one, right, to describe people. And that is Pledger right there. Pledger is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. He's a super loyal friend. He taught me everything I know about sports talk radio, about podcasting and things like that. He's been a very, very good mentor over the years, and I enjoyed my 3 years working with him. Pledger, one of my bestest of friends. And Joe, I'm going to challenge our listeners today to send in some super chats so that we can get a bottle of booze for James Pledger. Can we raise enough money to get him a bottle of Jack Daniel's single barrel? Because that's what he wants.
There you go.
So can we raise $50 to make this happen?
For our boy Pledge. Let's make it happen. Hey, you know what? Pledge is a good guy because last time I hung out with him was when we had your karaoke party. Remember we had that karaoke for the 3,000?
You showed up and I was drunk already. Yeah.
Yeah, true enough. But it was fun. And not only that, but afterwards when we had you and, Chica, we said goodbye to you guys and you all left for the night. Me and Pledge decided to go back to the Root Pub. He was at the Root Pub and he's like, you know what? Let's keep the party going. Let's go to the Root Pub. We went to the Root Pub And before we know it, man, we shut down the Rue Pub, and then me and Pledge, they're like, let's get something to eat. So we go out and we go to gyms. I
Yeah.
find myself at gyms with Pledge like around 3 in the morning, bro. I don't even know how that
Hmm.
happened. I looked at my clock and it was 3:30. I'm like, holy crap. By the time I got home, it was like 4 in the morning, dude. Night with Pledge.
Those are the nights you never forget, man. There was a night James Pledger and Jeff Garcia and I went out. We had a few drinks, and it's 2 a.m. We're looking for a place to eat, and Taco Cabana had already closed, and there was nothing open. So we went to Denny's. Actually, did we go to Denny's or did we go to IHOP? We went to one of the two
Yeah.
over on I-10. And we traveled all over town looking for a place to be open. Dude, back in the day, pre-COVID, you had some solid choices for eating at 3 in the morning, right? You had Taqueria Data Point, you had Chacho's, you had Mama Margie's. But now all these places shut down at 2. Really, Taco Palenque is the only place that's open really for
In our
late
area,
night snacks.
you have Denny's, and some gyms are open 24/7. Not all of them, but the offerings are kind of thin. Whataburger's always open. I believe Jack in the Box is always open. I mean, but the thing with Jack in the Box and like Whataburger, you don't really want to go and wait in the drive-through for about 45 minutes to an hour. Everybody is drunk. People are arguing. They fall asleep in the freaking drive-through. It's like it's just a hot mess, dude. If I'm gonna do something like that, I might as well just get like Uber Eats or DoorDash, and I just order. Hey, what does everybody want to eat? Just get the orders down, and I'll just pay for it and just have them deliver it, dude. It's not worth the headache.
Man, Whataburger's gone down, man. I don't know what's going on. Whataburger used to be the place. Maybe it's me getting older, but it's just not as good anymore, man.
Mama Margie Fernandez is watching. What's up, brother? Although joining us all the way from San Diego. I saw him. I saw Fernandez. He always comes out on the TV, dude. All the
Yeah,
time.
he was on at the Intuit yesterday for the Spurs when they lost to the Clippers.
Yeah. He's just
We have the first super chat is in from Sam Salinas, $5. Again, we're looking for 50. We're trying to get to 50 to get Pledger a bottle of Jack Daniel's single barrel. Okay. He says for pledge on a side note, typical of a guy who flaunts his 1099s to ask for donations, Mike. You elitist SOB. Happy birthday, Pledge.
Happy birthday, Pledge. Now,
Here's
there's
the
always
thing.
coming out on TV. Look at that with the shades.
How about this? How about this? We get $50 in super chats today for him. I match it.
All right.
How about that?
Get him a bigger bottle.
Get him a bigger bottle. Man, my voice is going out, man. Something's in the air, and I know what it was, man. When I was in California last week, one of my cousins was sick, and I'm having a conversation with him for like 10 minutes before he tells me, oh, by the way, I have strep throat. Like, thanks, man. Thanks. It's starting to come in. Something's coming in, man. It's either allergies or I'm getting sick. I don't know what it is, man.
Tell Chica to make you something to drink, man. A little drink, there, a little something to sip on. It'll get rid of it.
Can I tell you a little secret? Me and Chica, we've stopped drinking, man.
Oh, I know you told me you stopped drinking, but I'm just saying, like, in this sense, it's not really you're drinking, you're slamming them back. You're drinking something to try to cure what ails you,
Get my voice back. No,
Yeah.
it's funny because she and I, man, Chica and I, Pledge is texting me right now. That's why I said his name. Chica and I were notorious for after work, come home, have a couple of drinks, get some dinner. Nothing bad. I mean, we'd go out on the weekends and have an Uber Lyft type of night, right? But during the week, we'd have a couple of drinks. We've just stopped doing that, and it's just weird. We just looked at each other and said, we don't need to be doing this every day. Like, all right, cool. So we just stopped drinking. No big deal. People ask, is Chica pregnant? No, she's not.
Why would they say that?
Wow, man.
We
have super chats coming in. Matt Lerma, $5 saying, for the pledge, happy birthday, brother. Spurnandez in with an orange super chat. $20 saying, let's get this pledger effed up.
Damn right.
Pledger, by the way, just texted. He's going to be in the house in 15 minutes. Let me just text him real fast.
Nobody likes a quitter, Mike. Oh, it's Fernandez, man. That's my brother right there. He makes me laugh, dude. I can't wait for you to come back to SA, Rick. We can hang out, man.
I just texted Pledger. The pledge drive is on.
Yeah. We're about halfway there now.
$30. The goal was 50. We're at
And
30. We're all chipping in to get James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star, host of Extra Innings, 6 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We're trying to get him a bottle of Jack Daniels single barrel. Again, you guys put 50 in, I match 50. Me and my 1099s will match that 50, okay? We're $30 in. Thank you so much, Matt Laramus, Fernandez, and Sam Salinas for all of that, man.
oh, look at that. Fernandez says, "Me too, bro. Puro essay, But I can't wait for Rick to come back because I want Rick to come back during the time where we have like the SAFC. So me and Rick, Chicano Fuerte, maybe you can join us too, Mike.
Yeah.
And we can all go out there and enjoy a game with the SAFC crew, and hang out in the Necio bunker. Maybe get Mike to go and chant and sing, and get all Necio out there. It'd be fun. You don't even have to drink, dude. You could just be around the Necios.
I've done the Crocketeers chants back in the day, the bunker chats back in the day. That was fun. Rob Thompson and I from Sports Star and I went out there one time, and we did the tailgate. It was a fun time. I'm not going to say anything bad about SAFC in the sense that when I went, I had a blast. It was a fun time out there, and everyone's excited about getting Pledger drunk, man. I'm telling you, man.
Look at that. SAFC Necios are 100. I'm telling you, man. It's a good time with the
Yeah.
Necios. Sam
So what are
Salinas.
people all about Chica say? Did Mike get a pass from his new girlfriend to be on the show? Which show are we talking about? This show? This is my show. She loves the fact that we do a podcast, Joe, because she says I get my words out and I don't have to bug her with tidbits and fun facts during the night.
Jason's just busting your chops, dude. He's giving you a hard time, and it's funny because he's getting a rise out of you. And look,
Chica's a good girl, man.
It's too ethnic for Mike to be in the bunker. Oh God!
Jason was the one who got me into the bunker, Jason. So I don't know, man. Are you trying to cover up your tracks?
No,
is that what we're doing here?
Because he's making fun of you because you're always saying it's too ethnic for me.
I know someone posted earlier that I should have caldo, right?
Caldo.
It says July 26th saying, I know you dislike Mexican cuisine, Mike, but eat some caldo. I dislike Mexican cuisine. Me? Look at me. I'm tubby for a reason, man. It's because of Mexican cuisine.
Does Chica make a good caldo? Has she made you caldo before?
She's never made caldo before. She loves menudo.
Menudo's not bad.
She's a big fan of menudo. She likes the hominy and the juice of it all. The actual food inside of it, not really. I love caldo de res, man. Pozole is fine, but caldo de res is amazing.
Yeah.
But I can feel it right now. I don't know if you can hear it in me. I'm congested. I have a head cold. All of this stuff is going on right now. Whew.
What is Jason says? What's her go-to Mexican dish? Chica.
Chica's go-to Mexican dish?
Yeah.
Do we love getting the sizzling fajitas, dude?
Oh, okay. That's
sizzling fajitas. She likes flautas. I like cheese enchiladas. That's kind of my thing. Matt Larima with another $5 super chat saying he's got to go, but 5 more to pledge. Tell him cheers. $35 so far.
No, I think that's 40 now. We have $40.
Well, let's count them. We got 5, 20, 5. Let's see. That's 5. That's 10. That's 30. We're at 35, dude. 15 more dollars. This is a pledge drive for James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. But let's get into the sports, man, because yesterday I was doing Locked On Spurs. I know this morning you recorded Locked On Spurs, so today I'm today's guest on Los with Jeff Garcia. During the recording of the podcast, it came out that Mike Malone had been fired by the Denver Nuggets. Mike Malone, who led them to the 2023 NBA championship. They are champions. He has a ring. The winningest coach in the history of the Denver Nuggets.
Gone.
Just 3 or 4 games left in the NBA season. They're fighting for the 3 spot. Right now, if you take a look at the Western Conference standings, it is a log jam right there.
You're tied.
Oklahoma's the number 1 seed. Houston's a 2 seed. But the Lakers are the 3 seed at 48-31, and one game behind them at 47-32. The Clippers, who beat the Spurs last night, the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Memphis Grizzlies, all 47-32. And one game behind that, Minnesota Timberwolves at 46-33. So Denver right now is slotted at number 5, but could be number 3. And Denver's on a 4-game slide. They've lost 4 games in a row, and lots of different reasons are being thrown out there. It's a political game when it comes to a coach being fired, especially one that is as tenured as Mike Malone, someone who's a champion like Mike Malone. But it's a weird thing because, as I mentioned to Jeff Garcia, not only did Mike Malone get the axe, but so did Coach Budenholzer. Mike Budenholzer won a chip with the Milwaukee Bucks back in the day.
Yeah, and don't forget that the Nuggets also cleaned house, man. They fired their general manager along with Michael Malone. They said, both y'all can go.
So the general manager, Calvin Booth, the reasoning behind that was given was he had a lot of misses in the draft, that he was pulling trades that were not beneficial for this team.
And at that point, why isn't Brian Wright gone?
That's exactly it, man. I was thinking about it. I was like, well, shoot, if that's the criteria for keeping your job, Brian Wright wouldn't necessarily be there. I had someone reach out to me yesterday asking me the question, do I think Brian Wright's doing a good job? And it's kind of a weird thing because
he's doing a no-brainer job. No-brainer job is what he has.
In some respects, no. Some respects, yes. I mean, he's won some battles. He's lost some battles. He's kind of a 50-50 guy.
Let's go down the list. Okay, who's he drafted so far that's panned out?
That has panned out, Wemby and Castle. But they were the obvious choices.
Exactly. They just were there. They fell in your lap. You got the number 1 overall pick. Who are you going to pick? Of course, you're going to get Wemby. You have the number 4, Castle falls there. Of course, you're going
to get Castle.
But before then, who did they have? Luka Samanic,
Keldon Johnson. They had Malachi Branham, Josh Primo, Blake Wesley, who, by the way, has been playing a lot better these days. Lots of hits and misses. But when you look at it this way, you've also had some trades along the way where the Spurs have picked up draft picks because of him. So it's kind of an incomplete grade because what do we get out of that pick from Atlanta? Atlanta, by the way, it was looking for a while like the Spurs would be picking number 16 because of that Atlanta pick, but now it's looking like 15's worst case scenario. Chicago and Miami are 1 game behind Atlanta in the standings with 3 games to go. If they catch Atlanta, it makes it more likely like the Spurs are going to be picking at number 11 instead of 15 or 16. So Chicago, we got to cheer for. Chicago lost yesterday to Cleveland. We got to cheer for the Miami Heat. One of those teams to catch Atlanta, because if they catch Atlanta, we could more than likely get a second lottery pick. If they don't, it's going to be difficult. If we don't, we're going to be picking at 15 with that second pick. We get that second lottery pick, we go from having a 6% chance of having Cooper Flagg to 9% chance. We go from a 26% chance of being in the top 4 to 35%. There is something to be said about one of those 2 teams catching the Atlanta Hawks. But going back to Mike Malone and Calvin Booth, here's the thing. They said that there was a civil war going on between the 2. And instead of picking sides, the ownership group just decided to get rid of both of them. They've lost 4 in a row, and I've been seeing this analysis about the Denver Nuggets this year and the past couple of years. And they basically say the statistics show that when Nikola Jokic is on the court, they're one of the best teams in the entire NBA. That they are on pace to win 65 games if you have Nikola Jokic on the court playing 48 minutes. But the fact of the matter is that no player plays 48 minutes. So you look at it and you think to yourself, okay, well, what happens when Jokic is out? They're one of the worst teams in the NBA when Jokic is out. This is very reminiscent, Joe, of Wemby. When Wemby's on the court, Spurs do pretty well. When do the Spurs start losing? The second they take him off the court, right? His normal resting time. That's going on over there. And then there's been bad pickups over there. I mean, they had Russell Westbrook with his inefficient play out there. They've had some injuries. And at some point, the new ownership there just decided, you know what? We're just going to hit the hard reset button. Can
You
hit the
know,
hard reset button and get rid of Mike Malone.
I was going to show your tweet that you had posted out here because you were running a poll here, and we want to go ahead and give everybody a chance to go ahead and cast your votes. So Mike was asking the question here before we started the show: who do you want coaching the Spurs next season? And your choices are Greg Popovich, Mitch Johnson, Mike Malone, or Taylor Jenkins. Right now, with an overwhelming response from the fan base, Mike Malone is running away with it. He has 60% of the vote, followed by Taylor Jenkins at 22.2%. And at 16.7%, they have Greg Popovich, and somebody just voted right now. So now it's up to 2.1% for Mitch Johnson. And what do you think the Spurs are going to wind up doing? You have Taylor Jenkins, you have Michael Malone available for you, and a slew of other coaches out there, right, that you can go ahead and interview. The Spurs will do probably the thing that'll kind of irk the fans, and they're going to be like, "Nah, we good. We're going to go ahead and go and stick with Mitch Johnson." Would you be mad if they did that?
Well, I was talking about that with Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. It's all about timing. And unfortunately, we are being held hostage as Spurs fans by Greg
Why?
Popovich.
Why? Because he
Because
hasn't announced it. I'm going to retire, and the Spurs have shown that they're not going to move on from him yet.
right, they want to give him the opportunity to leave on his own terms. Right,
Well,
they don't want to. They don't want to Tom Landry him.
Yeah, but shouldn't it be like this, Mike? You come into the office, hey, Coach Pop, we're gonna have you on video chat or whatever. If you can't make it in, because I mean, he's had a stroke, he still has to rehab and get his mobility back, be able to talk, all that kind of stuff, and walk again. The
Right,
thing is, at some juncture, the Spurs front office should have that discussion with him in a respectable manner. Because I respect the heck out of Pop. Pop, thank you for so much for the 5 chips and everything you've done for the organization. But it's time for you to go. It's
right,
either going to be like this. Look, man, this is what's going to happen, Pop. Either you're going to go ahead and release a statement, much like Tim Duncan did, and say, I'm retiring. I'll see you all. Peace out. Or we can do it the other way, the easy way or the hard way. The hard way is we outright fire your ass and send you your walking papers, give you your walking papers. I think the classy thing is, Coach Pop, do the right thing. Just say you're going to retire, man. Are you going to really try to come back out here at what, 76 years of age? Having
77 come
suffered a
January.
stroke, and then try to say, oh, man, I'm going to go ahead and be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs for an 82 games season. No. Right now is the time for them to do something. And Coach Pop is holding the team hostage, like you said, and he should do the right thing and say, I'm done.
The time for the Spurs to do something is the month of May.
It's now.
Right.
I think they should do something
It's
now.
between now and May. And the reason why I say that, look at the NFL. What happens when the season comes to an end? What do they call it? Black Monday in the NFL. Season comes to an end. They start firing everybody, and then there's a 2-week scrum to get people hired. Right. New Orleans gets their head coach, right? And then you see the Cowboys get their head coach, and then you see the Raiders get their head coach, and then the Jets, and it's a scramble to become head coach, right? Why don't they wait till May or April? It's because they've got crap to do, right?
Yeah.
Because once the season's over, you turn your attention to the combine, and then you have the draft, and then you have the tampering period, and you have free agency. There's all of this stuff that leads up to a season, right?
Yeah.
You have to fill out your roster. You have to fill out your coaching staff, right? Not only is it a carousel of head coaches being hired and fired, but there's coordinators going back and forth. And then you have all these hotshot college coordinators that are out there that might be available. So you need to make a decision because it's not like you can go into the NFL season come April or May and be ready. It's months of preparation.
Look at Joey Noriega says, ditch Mitch and fire Pop. No, fire the both of them. Let Mitch go, fire Pop, and hire another coach.
Well, here's the thing. If the Spurs go on, if Pop holds his team hostage into June and July and then decides to leave, guess who's head coach, Joe? By
Who?
default,
Who?
Mitch Johnson.
Oh, God.
You cannot pivot to anybody else other than Mitch Johnson or Brett Brown, and that is it.
And we do
because
have somebody joining us right here in the chat.
oh my goodness, we have James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star. Happy birthday, Pledge! How you doing, my man?
Happy birthday.
What's up, brother? How y'all doing? Thank y'all.
Dude, we were doing a pledge drive earlier because we're trying to get you a bottle of Jack
Pledge
Daniel's
drive. I
Single
like
Barrel.
that.
Yeah, we're doing a pledge drive. So we've already had 3 people come in and give their donations, right? So just to
Oh,
give, so you can say thank you to
thank
Sam
y'all.
Salinas,
Wow,
$5.
Sam.
Matt Lerma, $10. Spernandez, $20. So we're at 35.
Woo!
And I told everybody that if we get to 50, I will double it. We'll make it 100.
Oh,
And then we'll give you either a specs card or something like that so that you can buy whatever you need to get, man.
I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much. Wow. You
All
know
I
how to
know
make a girl feel special on her day.
So we just need 3 more people to donate like $5 each, and there you go. We're at 50.
So we're
So
talking.
what are we doing? What are we? Because I know where Mike was early in the season. It's like Pop's too old. Mitch is young. I need a young coach because I'm an ageist. Are we officially jumping off the ageist bandwagon and going after somebody older than Mitch?
Well, here's the thing. We're talking about that right now. We have a poll on Twitter at MJ Acquired Taste asking the question, who do you want as the Spurs head coach next season? Choices are door number 1, Greg Popovich. Door number 2, Mitch Johnson. Door number 3, Michael Malone. Door number 4, Taylor Jenkins. Now, before we get into all
we
that,
only get 4 options. That's it.
well, that's all that Twitter allows us to do on a poll. But out of those 4, who's the one that you look at and think to yourself, I want that guy coaching this team?
I don't care which it is, but either or Taylor Jenkins, Mike Malone. Mike Malone, I would love. He's got a relationship with Pop. Taylor Jenkins comes from the Pop tree in terms of spending his time here in Austin and being both an assistant and head coach of the then Austin Toros when it was the D League. But like, no matter what it is, like I'm ready for new. Like we've gone through everything that you can go through with Pop, and we tried the young step into the. And I get it. He walked into a difficult situation with injuries and whatnot, but there are just times where this job has felt too big for Mitch Johnson, and it sucks because you want, like, this is an organization known for its patience, right? And yeah, there's going to be some struggles and some failures along the way. And I would like for him to potentially be able to get his feet under him, have a full squad, and see what he can do. But unfortunately, because of Wemby, because of the trade for De'Aaron Fox, this feels like the timeline is being elevated. And it feels a little wrong kicking Mitch to the curb after one unsuccessful season. That feels, in a way, very Detroit Piston-y, back when the Pistons were consistently awful. But you've got to find the right guy to lead this ship going forward. And I'm just not sure in my heart of hearts when I reflect that Mitch is that guy.
I agree with you.
James Pledger of San Antonio Sports
I
Star.
agree with Pledge.
6 to 7 extra innings. That's his show Monday through Friday on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Okay, Pledge, here's the thing. I made the point on Locked On Spurs.
Oh, God.
And tell me if this is wrong or right.
I don't know.
That
I'm laughing at a comment right now.
Pop is holding the team a little bit hostage right now. And that if this goes into the summer, by default, Mitch Johnson's the head coach next year if he steps aside. That Pop needs to get out now if we're going to get a Taylor Jenkins. He needs to get out now if we're going to get a Mike Malone. He needs to get out now if we're going to get an upgraded coach, because the longer he drags this out, the more likely it is that they just have to roll the ball out there and bring Mitch Johnson back.
We do have breaking news here. I got to go ahead and share this with Pledge. Pledger, Jason Garcia, just went ahead and donated $10 via super chat. Thank you, Jason. And
Thank you, Jay.
this is another a $5 super chat here from Tex-Mex Frank. He says, "Happy birthday to El Pledge, un grito." He paid
That
for the
is
grito.
50 from the. That's 50.
We
You
get it.
add my 50. Whatever Joe wants to donate, we've hit over $100 in a Specs gift card, or if you want a Rue Pub gift card, you tell us what you want to do. But
Yeah.
because we got the goal, and I
Well,
know
if
Pledge
you
hates
know
it,
me, Mike, and you do, and I don't know what your weekend plans are for you and Francesca, but you know, you, Joe, everybody, you know where I'm going to be Friday and Saturday.
The roof
Likely, I'm going to be at
well,
the Roof Up and the Angry Elephant all of those days. I've got a round of golf on Saturday, and I'm going after that. And then Friday night, we're going out. I took the day off from work. I'm going to go out Friday night, and I'll probably end out tomorrow after work as well. So anybody that wants to can come by and say what's up, say happy birthday, just talk and BS with me. It's all good. Nothing but love. I love all y'all here, and of course, y'all are especially invited out.
And look at
well,
this.
since
Pledge.
we hit the $100,
We
Joe.
went over. We went over now. Midtown Texas. Another $10 super chat here. He says, "Happy birthday, Pledge." So
Do
we are
you know
at
what this
$60.
deserves? Do you know what this deserves? Now that we're at 60, I'm adding the 50. We're at 110. Here's what we're gonna do: the
Okay?
birthday grito. We need to do a birthday grito.
Damn it.
Joe, let him have it.
Here we go. In your honor, Pledge.
Por presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Pledge, did you feel that in your soul?
It's so much longer than I remember.
And we're not done yet, Pledge. We have another $5 incoming super chat from the Drew Show, and he's saying, "Why?"
What's up, Drew?
He says, "Why wait? Why wouldn't Malone wait?" He says he is gonna get a settlement on the 2 years of his contract. He wants to coach Wemby, Castle Fox. He's no fool.
Okay, so going back to your point, Mike, about is Pop holding this team hostage? There is a potential that that is the case in terms of just waiting this thing out. But would Pop be doing that to? We all know how close he is with Mike Malone. As a matter of fact, he's one of the ones that got him the Nuggets job in the first place. Why would he do that to another close friend? Like, I mean, I don't understand the holding them hostage. I just don't think Pop knows where he is yet. And I do believe that he wants to come back and he wants to coach this team. But at some point, the organization, everybody has to do what's best for the organization. Pop is going to remain a part of this organization, whether he's on the side or not.
We're losing
We,
you.
we, we have a little bit of technical difficulties there with Pledge, but if he can come back in, if he can call back in. So let's touch on that a little bit, because he's saying that Pop right now doesn't know where he wants to be. But isn't that the narcissism that is Greg Popovich?
I think he's back.
Where he should be is retired.
No, not. I don't mean where he wants to be, like where he is in his rehab, where he can legitimately get back to. And you know, those carrots, when it comes to like an arduous rehab process, can be very beneficial to people. And him holding out hope that he can return to the bench could be a very, very big part in his life and his rehab right now. We don't know, but like it's. If the Spurs don't want to move off of him, if he can get back to 100%, I totally get that. Right. That is a Spurs organizational decision, whether I agree with it or not. I don't. I think it's time they move in a different direction. I think this just helps to expedite the process, or at least the thought process of, oh crap, we really do need to start thinking about the future of this organization beyond Pop. Hopefully that kicked that into high gear, and hopefully this year with Mitch has kicked it even into higher gear. Now, I don't believe they're going to fire Mitch because it does them no good right now. Firing him mid-season, it's a lot of just pump and circumstance more than anything. If anything, you're giving a hat tip to the fans of, we get it, we hear you, we're going in a different direction. But it's also kind of doing Mitch dirty a little bit in a way if you fire him with 2-3 games left in the year. So let him finish out the season, take the week to evaluate, and go after the coach that you circle. But if they're truly in their heart of hearts waiting on Pop, this isn't a Pop thing. Whether he wants to coach or not, the Spurs can say no as an organization. The Spurs can, we have seen legendary head coaches not get to leave on their own terms. As a matter of fact, no head coach truly ever really gets to leave on their terms the way they want to, whether that be Bill Belichick in New England. It doesn't matter how goated you are. At some point, the organization must do what's best for the organization. So we can't put this on Pop. We have to put this on Peter Holt and the Spurs board of trustees.
Well, they say this about coaching: you get hired to be fired. That is the ism in sports. But the thing about it is this: is that you keep on saying that this is about Pop and Pop's decision and Pop this and the other. I'm sorry, but as a Spurs fan, this is all about Wemby. And Wemby has the possibility, and this is a sad fact, of having 3 head coaches in his career in 3 seasons. Not ideal for the quote-unquote generational talent out there.
Also, not his fault either. It's by no one's fault that he's got 3 head coaches. You can't predict a stroke. Like if somebody dies, you've had 3 head coaches in 3 years, but you can't fault somebody getting in a car wreck on the way to work and being taken out. You can't fault medical emergencies. You can't.
Yes, you can fault and say you should not have a 76-year-old head coach in the NBA because there's never been one older than 71. If he has a stroke and misses the season, that could have been prevented because he should have been shown the door before it got to that point. And the idea that he's going to come back, the possibility of him coming back, Pledge, after experiencing a stroke, guess what happens when people have strokes, Joe and Pledge?
Yeah, whatever.
They get better for a little bit, and then what happens? Something bad happens.
Jeez.
All right, so it is the Marshall football team's fault that they died in a plane crash on the way to a game. That's what you're saying.
What are you talking about?
You
said that was a really good comeback, but that wasn't one. It's your brother. Let that one pass.
Man.
No, but seriously, man, you're talking about an act of God. Like that, yes, he's 76. Just because you're 76 doesn't mean you're going to have a stroke. I know a bunch of 76-year-olds that have never had a stroke. That is beyond comprehension of science, medical. It's like Wemby's blood clot. Can we fault Wemby for his blood clot? No. That is a medical just happenstance. You cannot predict, or his age had nothing to do with his blood clot. Just like Pop's age doesn't have anything to do with his stroke. That is just happenstance. You cannot predict that. You cannot throw that in the Spurs' face just because of a certain age. There are 76-year-olds that live on this earth every day that have never had a stroke. There are 22-year-olds that have had strokes.
You cannot
that
plan.
Is not beholden of an age, Michael.
You cannot plan a 5-year, 6-year future with a team with a 77-year-old head coach, which is what he'll turn in January. You just can't. You just can't. I mean, do I have to keep quoting Adam Sandler, that one movie? He has a 5-year plan. What is it? Not to die? You cannot have a future with a 77-year-old head coach.
What did you say one time, Mike? You said, this is what Spurs fans are going to want. If Coach Pop comes back for one more season, do they want to see him keel over there on the sidelines? during the game.
Oh, exactly. That would be awful. That'd be tragic for him for that to happen. And you know what? It almost did. Can you imagine if that stroke had happened an hour and a half later and he was on the bench when that happened? How this would all be a different conversation. But because it happened behind closed doors, it's a different thing. $5 super chat coming on in from the Drew Show. We're now at $70, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Saying, quote, luck is when opportunity collides with preparation. This is that in spades for the Spurs, not Pop. Malone in this moment. Thank God for Denver's fumble. So let's talk about Mike Malone.
I'm with you. I want a new coach. I do. And I hear everybody that's like, yeah, there's anomalies with everything. A stroke is an anomaly in and of itself. That is my point. Yes, he may be more predisposed to having a stroke at a later age, but that's got nothing to do with what happened and where the Spurs are now. I have said this before. I think it is time for them to go in a new direction. I do think they do need a new head coach. I don't think this is Pop's decision entirely. It's an organizational decision. If Pop is holding them hostage, the organization can still make a decision to say, Pop, I hear that you want this, but we're moving on. You can either get on board the way Syracuse did Jim Boeheim,
right,
or this can get ugly. It's either
way because getting ugly would be 1988 and 1989. Jerry Jones buying the Dallas Cowboys, then axing Tom Landry, which was very unpopular at the time.
He did that because he had to. When he bought the team, it was beholden on the other owner that he bought it from. Like, part of the deal was, hey, fire Landry, I'm going to buy the team, and then when I take it over, I'll appoint a new head coach, blah, 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 blah. Like, he never fired Landry, so Jerry Jones had to. Like, he didn't want to. It was part of the deal that, like, he was going to take over the team and appoint a new head coach, and there wasn't going to be there was just going to be a vacancy. Like, sure, that's different. The Spurs, there's no transition of ownership. There is nothing to pin the buck on. This is them not wanting to look bad or be put in a bad situation or do something that's uncomfortable, it feels like.
The Progressive reaches out to us saying that it was Sohan's hair and the dot races that gave Pop the stroke. Possibility. It's a possibility. Head of a Fist says, sorry, but SSE, Spurs Sports Entertainment, not telling Pop any of that. Midtown Texas
and that's the problem. That's the big problem.
Midtown Texas saying Mike would have called a technical on Pop for having a stroke mid-game. Possibility.
He would have hit him with the tech for delay of game, no doubt.
Delay of game. Get him off the court. Get him off the court.
Tex-Mex Frank says, pledge with very solid takes regarding Pop's stroke and Wemby's blood clot. Not planned. Mike's take on old people, gone.
Gone.
God.
So at what age are we flexing you out because you've aged out of this?
We have another $5 super chat coming on in from the Drew Show. The gift card for Pledge is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Says Pledge wants a new coach, but not more than he wants to win this so-called argument with Mike or any debate. Happy birthday, Mr. Pledger.
That may be true.
I'm going to tell you, Pledge, at the end of the day, I do like Mike Malone, and I like him for one reason. And it's one thing that Spurs fans fail to realize when you have a senior or seasoned coach like Mike Malone. One thing that he's going to be able to do that Spurs fans have had a big issue with is shore up your rotations. He's known for that. He puts together beautiful rotations that can go out there and play for the full 48 minutes. If he was to come to the San Antonio Spurs, you'd know from game one who's going to be your starter, who's coming off the bench. He's going to ride or die with them. Issue solved. You have your rotations in place already. I think that's a big deal. And I would love him. I would love to have him here as a coach.
I agree with you, Joe. I love Michael Malone. I think he's fantastic. There are multiple reasons. What you just stated would be a great one, involving the rotations and having some consistency with that, and people knowing where they're going to be on a nightly basis. Also, there is the championship pedigree that he brings, and knowing that this is a man who can usher you to the finals, to win a finals, into Western Conference finals. And another thing that I think is very underrated with him, he knows how to adapt to a unicorn of a big man. Nikola Jokic is unlike anything that we've ever seen on a basketball court in terms of his ability to play inside, outside, be a point center, and shoot threes. All of these things. He is just a unicorn of a big man in the way that big men operate in the NBA. What does San Antonio have right now? A unicorn of a big man that does things that nobody else knows really what to do with on a basketball court because they've never seen it before. He would know how to best utilize Victor Wembanyama in terms of his skill set to get the best out of him.
Now let's talk about Mike Malone and his backstory. He is 53 years old. He coached 2 seasons with the Sacramento Kings in 2013 and 2014. Not very good, but when he took over the Nuggets and was with them for a decade, had a record of 471 and 327, led them to the finals in 2023, a 44 and 36 record in the playoffs. So he's got some bona fides. He's a very, very good head coach. And I'm looking at this record that he had with the Warriors, right? A winning percentage in the regular season of .590. I mean, this is a guy that wins games. He wins games. This year had them on pace to win 50 games. Won 57 games last year, 53 the year before that, 48, 47, 46, 54, 46. The first 2 seasons with the Nuggets were losing seasons.
Are we all in agreement? Is it Mike Malone A, Taylor Jenkins 1B, and then everybody else?
Well, according to the poll that we have on Twitter, 76 votes in the last 30 minutes. 53% say that they want Mike Malone as the head coach. 21% saying Taylor Jenkins, 21% Pop, and only 5% say Mitch Johnson.
The Pop thing, this is why the Spurs are afraid to move off Pop. There's a little bit of loyalty involved. It's a combination of things, but it's also those staunch fans that believe, no matter what Pop does, they've got their Pop glasses on, and he can do no wrong in anything that he does.
We trust.
Everything he does is some sort of master plan.
I fear a Weekend at Bernie's moment where Pop is just propped up on the bench.
Can we get Taylor Jenkins or Mike Malone to be his second chair then? So that they're the ones actually doing it. We just have the figurehead Weekend at Bernie's Pop on the first chair.
I think that's probably one of your worst takes I've ever heard you say on this show, Mike.
What's that?
They're gonna have Coach Pop like Weekend at Bernie's, bro.
That's great. That's actually
Weekend
a movie
at
from the '80s that I did watch. Hey, Pledge, let me ask you this: there's a 6% chance that the Spurs get Cooper Flag, right? If someone catches, if Miami or Chicago, who are 1 game behind Atlanta, catches Atlanta, there's a possibility of a 9% chance of getting Cooper Flag. How many wins does a lineup of Fox, Castle, Cooper Flag, Wemby, and Barnes? Give me how many wins does that team get?
I don't know who's coaching it.
Okay, let's go ahead and say it's Malone.
Look, this team this year should have been way better than it is with the talent on the floor that they had at times. It's even when Pop was coaching, like they were off to a better start, but like there have been inconsistencies with the lineups, the rotations that have led to losses that shouldn't have been. And this team is far more talented than it is in the wins and losses column. To me, that is a coaching issue. I need to know who's coaching this team before I can start guessing wins, because I thought this year's team with Barnes, and Keldon and Devin and Castle and Wemby and the acquisition of Fox afterwards, I thought this was a 40-win team.
Well, Wemby did miss 36 games, and Fox did miss the last month and a half. We have a tweet coming in at us, the Fagan, saying that he wants Mike Malone as the head coach. He says, real revolutionary. Put your best player on the block and run the offense through him. Jokic thrives. Imagine that. Wemby should be used the same way. I mean, we saw this video, Pledge, of Wemby hanging out with Hakeem Olajuwon there at the Alamo Dome during the Final Four.
Can you imagine if he learned the drink shake?
That's what we were getting at. Why doesn't he have a signature move, Fred? Because Dirk Nowitzki had the 1 foot fadeaway. Duncan had the bank shot. We had the dream shake.
Yep.
We had the quick 15-foot off the elbow from David Robinson. Everyone had a go-to move. Skyhook for Kareem. Should Wemby develop a signature shot? And if you say chunking it from 4 feet behind
everybody should have a signature shot of some sort. Everybody needs their go-to move.
Right.
Somebody had a question here. I want to ask Mr. Pledge. Look at this. Tavarius says, ask Pledge, should they go after Durant? Now, I'm going to make a comparison here that's unpopular with Spurs fans.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, right? You're saying yes, but I'm going to tell the Spurs fans here. I'm
aware.
They're all in for Vassell, right? But Vassell has peaked. This is who he's going to be. He's going to be an inconsistent player. That's what you're going to have to live with. And you look at Kevin Durant at his age, and when you make the comparisons, and you can go to Basketball Reference or wherever and look at their stats, Kevin Durant at his age is better than Vassell right now. There's no lies in that statement.
There's no lies.
Why wouldn't you want Kevin Durant? That's what I'm saying. I would love him.
The only reason they don't want him is because he's been a part of multiple failed super teams, even though that Oklahoma City team did get to a finals, should have been to another one, should have won one of those against LeBron, but that's irrelevant. He was also a part of the failed super team in Brooklyn and a part of the failed one in Phoenix. But my point on Kevin Durant is, and super teams in general, like, they have to fit. Like, you have to get a collection of guys that fit together and know their roles. Now, Kevin Durant can seamlessly fit, in my opinion, into a bunch of different scenarios because he's so efficient how he scores. He doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands. He doesn't need to dominate the ball to be able to come up with 27 points. He just gets it. Like, you look up and it's like, oh, Kevin Durant had 35 tonight. Wow. Like, he just seamlessly scores. And it's so efficient on how he does it, whether it's off the catch and shoot, off the dribble, whether it's ISO, drawn up for him. He can score in a multitude of ways, which makes him very easily amenable to fitting in with other players. The problem is, when you put him in with, let's say, a Bradley Beal, that's an awful fit along with Devin Booker. When you pair him with Kyrie Irving and James Harden and Ben Simmons in Brooklyn, those are horrible fits. Like, those are just players that don't fit together. And so,
reaches out to us on our stream,
I think that's what's wrong with the Spurs team now. They don't fit. None of these pieces fit.
So JHNSB reaches out to us and says, KD needs to teach Wemby how to be KD.
And you know what? Wemby's favorite player is Kevin Durant. Why not bring him on the Spurs team and let Wemby learn from the brother?
We saw this. We saw this with Chris Paul. You know, Steph Castle got to learn how to become Chris Paul by playing with Chris Paul.
I don't.
I love the idea of adding a Kevin Durant, just in terms, because it's a short-term fix. You're a 2-3 year kind of contract with Kevin Durant that allows you to prepare for those big deals like Wemby, Fox, and Castle when they all come due in the subsequent years.
What did you say, Mike? I think you said it best. It's Wemby, Fox, Castle, and what is it? Just a bunch of dudes, right? Bunch of
They're a
guys.
bunch of dudes. I mean, everyone's replaceable. Sohan's replaceable. Keldon's replaceable. I mean, they're all going to have long careers. It's whether or not the pieces of the puzzle fit together. And the fact of the matter is that this all needs to be built around Wemby, right? You can't say that we're going to add to the old core, to the young core that was back in the day of Vassell and Keldon and whatnot, because Wemby is what the focus needs to be. And getting De'Aaron Fox helps Wemby. Stephon Castle and his ability to do various things around the court, whether it be to be the facilitator, to be the shooter, to be the driver, whatever the case may be, helps him out there. So we got the three pieces of the puzzle that are right there. It's that fourth missing link that's going to get us to that 45, 50 win category.
You know what
And
that
whether
missing link is, Mike?
What's that?
Center. We need a damn center who's going to go and play inside the paint, bang bodies, get rebounds, and do the dirty work, because that is not Wemby. He wants to be the finesse player. He wants to play the perimeter. That's fine. Then go out and get somebody who does want to be the center.
Pledge, I want
Kevin Durant to be your center.
Pledge, I want one of, and if we're not going to get Durant, and we're going to figure this out during the draft, right? I just want one of the Duke guys. Just give me one of the Duke guys. I don't care if it's Cooper Flagg. I don't care if it's Kaman, the center. I don't care if it's Knipple. I don't care who it is. Just give me one of the Duke guys.
Knipple, man. Knipple. Like, I get it. We need a big. What they need is a legitimate big, an NBA proven big, a big body that knows how to bang and deal in the NBA. What you need from the draft, you need a guy like Knipple, a guy who could shoot and space the floor. This team lacks floor spacing in the worst way. Yes, they've got a bunch of guys that space the floor and jack threes, but none of them are efficient from three.
The best part about Knipple, he has a high basketball IQ. He's sneaky athletic. He's the first person in the gym and the last one out, right, Pledge?
I mean, he's a coach's kid. He's a real hard worker.
Joe, do you understand our old take on that? What are we trying to say, Joe?
God,
what are we trying to say, Pledge?
Oh, the guy lacks melanin.
He's a white guy. That's what we're saying. He's a white guy. And why is it when I tried to compare him the other day to somebody, I had to compare him to somebody white? I was kind of like, he's kind of like a taller Josh Giddey.
He's quicker than he is fast.
Look at that. We have Sohan.
His high basketball IQ.
Look at
super high. If you want to compare him to somebody, compare him to JJ Redick.
Oh God.
Oh.
Another good guy.
Yeah, but I look at
this team needs marksmen from the outside. It has no true marksmen.
You know what, Pledge? Go. Let's hang on to that there, because when you go back to the Spurs when they were winning championships, right? They had a lot of guys. They had 3-point specialists, right? That was their job. That's all they did. That's all they did. Hang out behind the 3-point line, get open, knock down a three. Do we have that now? Nope.
No.
Shoot a three.
I've been saying it for years now. This team lacks two things fundamentally ever since they got rid of Jakob Poeltl. They miss a true big man, and they miss floor spacing. They don't have a sharpshooter, and they don't have a big man. Those are two glaring needs on this team, and those are two very, very big needs in the NBA.
So Pledge and I, so for those of you who have followed me in Pledge over the years, Pledge and I used to do Saturday Morning Hangover. We would do shows together, halftime and whatnot together back in the day. And one of the things about it is that Pledge and I would make very good co-GMs of the Spurs. Because I think we've done a very good job over the years of identifying certain players. So when the Spurs were going out there drafting Primo, you and I were both like, no, that Alperen Şengün is probably the guy you should get. And that panned out that way. We both like Devin Vassell out of Florida State. We would stay after the shows on Saturday, 11 a.m. tip-off to watch Devin Vassell, also Patrick Williams back in the day, over at Florida State. You and I liked certain players. You and I both liked Stephon Castle last year. We identified. He was my favorite player of the draft also. We identify these players early on, and we typically are pretty good. We liked Jalen Williams. We liked Cody Williams during the Sohan draft. So it's funny how you and I kind of come to an agreement when it comes to certain things. Here are the players that I like, and one of them was brought up by one of our listeners, Sam Salinas. Give me a Duke player, right? I don't care if it's the center. I don't care if it's Knipple. I don't care if it's Cooper Flag. Obviously, would want Cooper Flag, right? But if it's not, give me Knipple. Give me Kaiman. But the other one, Asa Newell from Georgia. That's another guy that when I watch him play SEC ball, I get a little turned on as a Spurs fan. Give me some Asa Newell as well. And maybe he's available at the 15 spot if the Spurs are drafted at 15. But Asa Newell averaged 15.4 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, shot 54% from the field, 6'11", 220. 3-point shot, it looks like Castle's 3-point shot, 30%, but 29-30%, but it doesn't look broken. It looks fluid. They just don't always go in. But I like that guy, man. Asa Newell. If Asa Newell was shooting 35% from 3, he'd be in the top 5.
Sure. You want to know who my draft crush is?
Who's that?
It's not a need, other than the fact that he just scores. He reminds me a little bit of Damian Lillard.
VJ?
WCJ.
WCJ. Hit me up.
Walter Conley Jr., the guard from Florida that just won the chip and the most outstanding player.
Yeah, so Jay Williams was on one of the talk shows just a little while ago, former Duke star, saying, tell me how that guy does not belong in the top 10, top 15 of the mock drafts. But the most recent mock draft has him going around 38 or so, early part of the second round.
He'll be a top 15 pick. I think he'll go somewhere like 10 to 22.
Interesting. And you know what? That's the whole part of the draft. You know, you see the Duke players showed up. You know, Cooper Flag showed up, and I know they wet the bed down the stretch against Houston, right? But you at least saw the bona fides of why they're there. The harder part was Rutgers, who's going to have 2 of the top 4 players in the draft with Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, not make a run, not do anything, not even make the tournament, for crying out loud. And it's just one of those things where you look at it and you think to yourself, man, we didn't get to see those guys shine in March Madness. How disappointing that is.
And I will say this, Space Invader on the YouTube chat saying I'm high, don't need a 6'3" undersized guard. Look, I'm not saying, I said, like the Spurs, it's not a fit. They don't need this. I just said this is my draft crush. I don't care who he goes to. I think he's going to be a freaking baller no matter where he goes. I think he's going to be a really, really good NBA player. That's what I'm saying. He reminds me of Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum. Like, and when it comes to the draft, don't draft need. If you draft need, you're going to fail. Draft the best player available. You can trade players to get what you need for an established NBA player. But if you draft based on need, you're going to fail more often than not, even more so than in the NFL.
Draft ballers. Mexican Jr. coming out and saying Pledger must be driving to El Paso. He's going to stop at Buc-ee's for gas with his commute.
Driving from Canyon Lake, went to my mom's. On my way into work, I'm actually getting semi-close now. I'm back in San Antonio.
If you're joining us right now, just join us right now. Pledger, it is his birthday. I'm not going to say how old you turned, but we did have a pledge drive. Fofo, man, George Gervin age, baby.
I'm tipping out Fofos.
We had a pledge drive earlier. I'm adding $50 to the mix. We've already raised $75 in super chats, not including what Joe wants to tap in there. That's $125.
Thank you, everyone.
$125 worth of, I don't know, Angry Elephant money, or you can just say, sure, I want to have a Specs card, whatever that is.
Look, yeah, I mean, y'all have basically covered half of one of my bar tabs this weekend, so I appreciate it.
Look at this. Tex-Mex Frank, he comes in here and says, the real question is, do any of the players mentioned carry the Jimenez throbbing characteristic?
Okay, so Dude, have you heard of the
What are
throbbing?
they trying to draft Josh Primo again?
That's a different type of throb. So back in the day, my friends and I would play like NBA Jam, or we'd play Double Dribble, all those games. And you know the star under the player in these video games, if they got hot, it would start to pulsate. And my friends would always say, "He's throbbing. He's throbbing." So whenever a player goes off, like Devin Vassell goes off for 7 3-pointers, or that one Mamu game where he knocked down 7, everyone responds with, "Man, Mamu was throbbing last night."
Oh God!
Any of these players throb, nipple throbs, right?
You know who else is going to be throbbing? Mike, because he was on the Locked On Spurs podcast, which is dropping today. But you know what? We got to go ahead and take a quick pause and give a shout out to Jeff Garcia of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
That's right. More than 7,000 subscribers strong. I subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. You should as well. Pledge, before we let you go, because you're getting close to the station there. I was fascinated by CBS Sports' mock draft today for the NFL draft, which is coming up pretty soon. This one was by Chris Trapasso, posted 2 hours ago.
Okay, I like Chris.
What I found fascinating was he has number 1 overall Cam Ward, former of UIW Miami, going number 1 overall to Tennessee. He has Travis Hunter going number 2 to Cleveland. Number 3, Armand Mambao, offensive tackle from Missouri, going to the Giants. He has Abdul Carter going number 4 to the Patriots. Ashton Genty jumping up to number 5, not the Vegas, number 5, going to Jacksonville.
Okay.
They have a new and young GM who wants to increase the value of the team and get star names there. You're not going to do that with an offensive tackle. You got to get a big name. Number 6, they have Tet McMillan going to the Raiders at that point. Number 7, the Jets taking Shadur Sanders. Number 8, Will Johnson, cornerback of Michigan, going to Carolina. Number 9, Mason Graham, defensive lineman, going to Michigan, from Michigan to the Saints, rather. Shamar Stewart of A&M, defensive lineman, going to the Bears. Will Campbell, offensive tackle, San Francisco. And at number 12, Michael Williams, edge from Georgia, going to the Dallas Cowboys. It's funny because you could go onto any mock draft, whether it be ESPN or Mel Kiper or any of these guys out there, and they're all over the place. That's the best part of the draft, is the fact that you don't know what's going to happen. Dallas Cowboys. Build from the out. Do they?
Can you scroll down to who went 25? Who went 25?
25. They have going 25. By the way, they have Matthew Golden going 16 to the Cardinals. 25. That's the Houston Texans, right? Number 25. Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman, North Dakota State. 6'6".
Gray Zabel, yeah, he can play anywhere on the line. Okay, so as it pertains to Michael Williams from Georgia, like much like I just said about the draft the best player, and if he's the best player on your board, take him. Don't pigeonhole yourself into a need because you feel compelled. If you feel like there's not much of a difference between Kyle Williams from Washington State, who you can get in like the 2nd or 3rd round, and Matthew Golden, then don't reach for Matthew Golden. Like, right. If you would prefer a bigger bodied receiver like Higgins out of Iowa State, or if you prefer Alec Ayomanor from Stanford, who are bigger bodied guys, then do that. But don't reach for a guy because, like, oh, I need to get a second receiver for CeeDee Lamb, or, oh, I really need to get a running back, so I'm going to take Amarion Hampton at 12. Don't reach when the value, especially the running back value in this draft, unless you believe in your heart of hearts that that player is just a difference maker. Like Omarion Hampton's going to be a future Hall of Famer. The way you felt about Micah Parsons.
Right.
Like if Michael Williams turns out to be Micah Parsons 2.0, you're going to be pissed no matter who they take. So take the best player. Because if you get two Micah Parsons on the same defensive line, holy crap, especially when you've got guys in your division now like Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels, the amount of havoc you can wreak like that. You can find receivers. You can find running backs. We know that you can find them in later rounds.
Jesse A.
And that you don't have to take them in the top 10 for them to be great players.
Jesse A. reaches out to us on our YouTube stream, which is powered by MCS General Contracting, and saying Cowboys are going to draft whoever's going to sell the most amount of jerseys. I like the idea that the Cleveland Browns might go after Travis Hunter at 2 and then go after Jackson Dart in the second round, or maybe move back up into the first round to go get him.
Jackson Dart's going to be a first rounder when this is all said and done.
Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest mock draft has my New Orleans Saints at number 9, having Shadur Sanders fall to them at number 9. What are the odds that Shadur Sanders isn't drafted by the Jets, isn't drafted by the Browns, isn't drafted by any of these teams, and suddenly the Saints are sitting there at 9, getting their they have Coach Moore as their new head coach? Would you be upset if my Saints got a quarterback? Or what if they went up and got Jackson Dart and said, "Hey, that's our guy"?
Yep. To me, I look at it, Shedeur Jackson. I love Jackson Dart. I said he was going to be one of those high risers right before the scouting combine. I was like, watch Jackson Dart. He'll be a first rounder before this is all said and done. And the reason is A, he's good, but B, there is a lot of value in having that 5th-year option on a quarterback. There's tons of value. So whether he goes earlier than he should in the top 10, or if somebody trades back up into the late first round in order to get that 5th-year option on him, that's happening. As far as Shadur Sanders, the fall, I don't understand. He's got plenty of arm talent. He's got the strength. He throws with anticipation. He's won everywhere he goes, and he's done it with a bad offensive line and still completed nearly 74% of his passes. I think part of the Shedeur thing is smoke, because remember, the closer you get to the draft, the less you can believe, because it's all smoke screens at that point. So for me, I still think Shadur Sanders is going somewhere in the top 10. Somebody's trading up for him. I can't see him falling to like 21 at Pittsburgh, right, like I'm seeing. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think the Cowboys and the Saints are both in the same position at 9 and 12, where they can get a quality player and drop back 3 or 4 spots. I don't want them dropping out of the first round, but if you're at 9 and you drop to 15, still get Jackson Dart, but pick up a second rounder, not a bad move. If you're the Cowboys at 12 and you drop down to 16, pick up a second rounder, not a bad move, especially if you can go get a Matthew Golden, if you can get a Malachi Starks, if you can get a solid player in the first round still.
Especially with the depth in the middle of this draft class, like the late first, early second, and third round picks. Like I mentioned, Kyle Williams and Alec Amaner, and there's also Travion Henderson and Quinton Judkins, the running backs from Ohio State. I mean, you have so much great talent that's going to be picked between the second and fourth round, that if you can get extra picks in that range, that is probably your best bet, unless you feel you're getting a game changer where you're picking in the first round. I would love to move down if possible. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints sticked and picked at 9 and then traded back up into the back end of the first round to get a Jackson Dart.
Tyler Warren is that one player from Penn State. We saw Brock Bowers, what he was able to do as a rookie, and we look at Tyler Warren as that might be the next guy to do it.
Shocked he's not a top 10 pick in most mock drafts right now.
Yeah, the mock draft from CBS Sports has him going 13 to the Chargers. Chargers with a history of having success when it comes to tight ends. By the way, this is a 3-round mock draft. If you want to see who the Cowboys get in the second round, according to CBS Sports, they project the Saints getting Luther Burden III out of Missouri with the 40
The
pick.
Saints or the Cowboys?
The Saints.
Okay.
They have the Cowboys taking Trey Harris, wide receiver from Ole Miss, in the
Okay.
second round. They have, let's see here, the Houston Texans taking another offensive tackle, Jonah Savania from Arizona. So they have this.
He'll be another guard.
Gotta keep CJ Stroud upright, man, at some point, right? Third round.
I mean, that's back-to-back interior guys. Gray Zabel can play guard, center. He can probably bump out to tackle if need be. Jonas Sivanea can play tackle, likely going to be a guard because of his arm length and athletic ability. So you're looking at basically the Texans taking center guard or 2 guards.
Third round, they have the Cowboys. Third round, they have the Cowboys taking Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle from Tennessee. And they have in the third round the Houston Texans taking Barrett Carter, linebacker from Clemson. So offensive line makes sense. I mean, they've got the position players that they need at wide out and running back, so they're perfectly fine. Pledger, happy
enough in free agency to warrant they can go any way they want in the draft. Really, they do need a wide receiver too, I believe, just like the Dallas Cowboys. I think Christian Kirk's best suited for the slot. You have your one in Nico, but you do need another weapon.
That is James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. 6 to 7 extra innings. Catch him on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Happy birthday. Did you just get into the parking lot?
I did.
Nice.
Look at that, man. The entire trip from Canyon Lake all the way to the Eisenhower Road, man. 4050 Eisenhower Road, man. That's where they party at. Fantastic. Well, he just bowed out right now. Happy birthday. We have a gift card that we're going to give to Pledger.
Oh, hold on.
I guess we have to call the Angry Elephant. Is that how we're going to make that happen?
He's back.
Call the Angry Elephant, get Pledger that gift card that he so deserves. Pledger's one of the best guys I've ever met. People ask all the time, do you miss sports talk radio? No, I miss hanging out with Pledger. That's what I miss.
I appreciate y'all, both of y'all. I love y'all, man. Y'all are the best. Everybody with the super chats, everybody that wished me a happy birthday in the YouTube chat, I appreciate y'all so much from the bottom of my heart. Man, make me feel special.
Very, very cool. That
Have
is
a good
Pledger.
one, Pledge. We appreciate you, brother. Love you, man.
6 to 7. We'll see you tonight, man. You take care, brother. Man, a pledge drive.
The pledge drive. And it went well. It went really well.
Yeah, it did, man. It did. So we have to somehow get that to you. So I'll Venmo you or I'll Zelle you, whatever it takes to make this happen, Joe. So if you can get him that card or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take care of him. I'll probably get it to him Thursday so he can have it by Friday. And also, we need to go ahead and give some love to MCS General Contracting, home of the Diamond Hard Concrete.
That's right.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
I like how Chris Leha puts it, man. They try to do it for the right price, but it ain't going to be the cheapest price because they want to do it right. You want it cheap, you're going to get it done again because it's going to be wrong the first time. Get it done right at the right price. MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155, 774-9155, that Diamond Hard Concrete. Joe, we have more than 100 people who have voted. Now 106 people have voted this hour on the poll on Twitter. Who do you want coaching the Spurs next season? Hashtag Por Vida. 55% saying Mike Malone, who just got canned by the Denver Nuggets last night.
Are they wrong?
20% saying Taylor Jenkins. 20% wanting Weekend at Bernie's, Greg Popovich. And 5% Mitch Johnson.
And you know what? I told you, Mike, at the end of the day, you know what the Spurs will probably do? Roll out Mitch Johnson for another season.
If they wait too long, that's what's going to happen. Joe, if you can go on to your page,
Yeah.
you posted something a little while ago asking us to choose our fighter between 4 movies that were very nostalgic, if you will.
Yeah, from back in the day.
Yeah. So I found that to be interesting because you look at these movies from the 80s. I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. I've seen 3 of the 4.
Oh, come on, Mike.
I saw 3 of the 4. I saw 2 as a kid, 1 as an adult. I have no idea what Flight of the Navigator is about. Never seen it. E.T. was a cute movie. Karate Kid's a classic. Dare I say The Goonies is the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God, Mike, that's blasphemy, man.
Which
You
is
didn't like
funny.
Goonies?
Okay, here's the thing. I watched The Goonies as a child, and I loved it. Data and all that, right? Then kind of had the hots for the teenage girl back in the day when I was a kid. I don't know what her name was.
Cheerleader.
Yeah, we all had the hots for that girl, right? You know, the truffle shuffle, all that stuff, right? And I remember about 6 or 7 years ago getting my kids together and saying, hey, we need to watch The Goonies. It's time for us to watch a classic from the 80s. And I put it on, and I wanted to turn it off within 10 minutes. Corey Feldman was effing insufferable. He was so bad in that movie, it made it difficult to watch. Dare I say it's a crap movie.
Look at Mexican Junior disagrees with you. Goonies isn't bad. Better than E.T.
Fine, but the best of the 4 is Karate Kid.
No doubt that the best of the 4 is Karate Kid. It's just, Karate Kid is just one of those timeless classics, man. And you know what? It has Elizabeth Shue in there. I mean, come on.
Allie with an eye. You know what I liked about Elizabeth Shue in that movie? She was not a super skinny chick in that movie.
Nah, she was normal, dude.
It kind of made me realize at the age of 9 that I like curvy gals.
Thickums. BB Rexa?
That's way too thick, dude.
Oh, Mike,
That's
come
off
on.
the charts. No, thank you, man.
Mike,
No,
stop
thank
it.
you.
Stop
I
it.
mean, I want my waist size to be smaller. Bigger than the
What's wrong with
girls.
BB, dude? What's wrong with BB Rexa?
That's not thickums. That's fatums.
Oh, my.
She was thickums. Not so much anymore, man.
BB Rexa lost weight, bro.
Oh, did she? Good for her. Then maybe she's back in the game.
She looking good, bro.
Hey, let's give me some love. My phone number there, 210-508-0369, 210-508-0369. People ask the question, hey, Jimenez, you manage over $20 million in investments. How freaked out are your clients? Well, the answer is that I have not received one bad call. The reason is because a lot of my clients have what are called buffered products, which means that I make sure that a percentage of their money, if not all their money, is protected, which means that if they lose money, they either get brought back whole or they don't lose the bulk of it. It's called buffered planning. Taking a look at the market right now, the S&P is up 27 points, back up over 5,000. Still 17% lower than what it was 2 months ago. Dow Jones up 141 points. If you have questions about investments, life insurance, well, I've sold 5 life insurance policies this week. 210-508-0369, and I'm getting my auto insurance agency started this week as well. 210-508-0369. And if you have Allstate, if you have Progressive, if you have Safeco, Liberty Mutual, if you have Nationwide, and you're like, man, I don't even have an agent. I don't know who my agent is. I want Jimenez as my agent. Let me know. I can actually take over those accounts and become your agent. 210-508-0369. Sam Salinas saying Mike needs to change his number to have the last 4 digits being 1099. That's right.
Look at Sam Salinas. She was thick. BB is hot.
The she was thick. Is talking about the Allie with an eye?
She was then and still a baddie. Oh God, Mike, what trauma did you suffer as a child and during your childhood for you to say Goonies was awful?
No, here's the thing. I loved it as a child. I thought it was one of the coolest movies as a child. Bringing it out as an adult was just horrific because I'm telling my kids, this is a great movie. This was so much fun. And then all I hear is Corey Feldman just talking and talking and talking with his annoying ass voice. I couldn't take it anymore, man.
What was
It
that
was
other
great
movie?
as a kid, as an adult. It sucked. Do you know what movie's good as a an adult? The Outsiders is still good as an adult.
Outsiders. You know what movie is still kind of funny? It's dated by today's standards. The Great Outdoors with the late John Candy.
That was a good movie, dude.
It's funny though because when you always hear like the same jingle that they play every time they show the two young kids that are the love interests of the movie, they always have this certain song that they play. It's very 80s, dude. But my kid likes watching that one. My youngest. He likes
Probably
watching The Great Outdoors.
probably the best movie that has endured the test of time
Yeah.
of the 80s is Stand By Me.
Stand By Me is a good one too. You know what show that I also liked that's still funny to me to this day? It might not be for everybody. Uncle Buck with John
Uncle
Candy.
Buck was fun, dude. That was a fun movie.
Remember when
you like John Candy movies? Like you're a John Candy guy.
Yeah,
You know,
remember when
John Candy got paid $1 million to go for 1 day on the movie Vacation. He's
Okay.
like, sorry, folks,
Wally
park's
World.
closed.
You know what was funny to me on Uncle Buck is when he's making that giant ass pancake and he's using the shovel to flip it.
Hey,
it was
are they really making a remake of Naked Gun, or are we being spoofed by the internet?
I don't know, dude. I can't really see if that is that a thing, but Liam Nielsen
Liam
Kinda
Neeson is, yeah.
reprising the role, that's pretty funny, dude. The
Frank
Naked Gun
Drebin.
movie is funny.
So last night, I learned that Chica has never seen the movie Airplane.
What?
Right?
What?
So,
Never?
so you know how sometimes women do that neck thing where they're like,
Mm-hmm.
She had mentioned something the other day, and she had given a neck swivel. You know, just basically say, well, if they don't want my help, they don't get my help. Something to that effect, right? And it wasn't towards me; it was towards somebody else.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, chump don't want help, chumps don't get help. And I'm quoting the movie Airplane, right?
Yeah.
Remember the jive scene? So I played that scene for her last night on YouTube. I put it up on the big screen. And it's Barbara Billingsley, formerly of Leave It to Beaver fame, and how she shocked people because she went out there and did that whole part of the movie. Excuse me, stewardess, I speak jive, which, by the way, is a scene that could never be done anymore, right? But at the end, as she's walking away, she goes, chump don't want help, chump don't get help. And then she starts muttering things as she's walking away. And I said, that was your attitude. And she goes, what are you watching? And I'm like, oh my God, my girlfriend has never seen Airplane.
No Airplane?
Dude, you know how the whole thing about how I didn't watch movies growing up, but
Yeah.
but later on in life I did? She's the one who's never seen movies.
Look at Sam Salinas. Mike speaks jive. Airplane still holds up. It's a classic. You know what?
It
My
is.
kids saw Airplane for the first time. I think it was like a year ago. And they loved it. They thought it was hilarious. They're like, Dad, why didn't y'all tell me y'all had these bangers back in the day? You know, I'm like, it's
Dude.
funny, man.
Other movies like I'm Gonna Get You Sucker was really good. The Kentucky Fried Movie was really good. The original Naked Gun
Police
was
Academy was
excellent.
funny.
Police Academy, dude. You know what? That's what I'm going to watch because I work from home and I do people's investments and insurances from home.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn on Police Academy. I'm
The
going to find
original.
Police Academy on
OG.
stream. Dude, I mean, the fact that Tackleberry
Yeah.
is the biggest gun nut, but misses every piece of action. It's like everything's always done. The one guy that wants to come out guns a-blazing is the one guy who never gets any gun action. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
But meantime, Hooks is there. Don't move, dirtbag.
And the guy that does the sound effects too.
Oh, what's it called? Oh my God. I
And
forgot
look
his
at
name.
this.
Winslow?
This is the thing. Yeah, this is a thing. So the Naked Gun is doing a sequel, right? And this is per TMZ. And the original, I guess, director of the Naked Gun has no plans to watch this film, but it is going to be a sequel to the OG series, the OG Naked Gun. So it is a thing. So I saw the trailer. It was funny. It looked funny.
I
You
didn't
know,
find it funny.
I thought it was funny, but will I
I'm
go
okay.
watch it?
I'm okay with the reboot, dude. I'm okay with the occasional reboot, but there's nothing that I saw in that trailer that made me think to myself, "Yeah, I gotta watch it,"
Yeah,
because it was more than just. It was more than Leslie Nielsen that made it funny. I mean, it was all the characters around him, his partner. It was Priscilla Presley. It was O.J. Simpson. It was Reggie Jackson, Vin Scully, all those people, Ricardo Montalban, all those people made that movie funny. If it's just Liam Neeson doing his own thing, it's not going to be as good.
Police Academy series is very classic. You know which movie you would
Oh yeah,
probably
Files
hate?
from Police Squad.
No, you know which movie you would probably hate? I don't think it's going to hold up well at all for you, or you're probably not even going to like it. That Johnny Five is alive, Short Circuit.
Dude, I love that movie, man.
Do you?
I got a thing for Ali Sheedy, man. Ali Sheedy was my girl back in the day, man. I I don't know why I always liked Ali Sheedy, dude. I don't know why.
You got a chub for her.
Well, because War Games came out and she looked good in shorts.
Hey, I just finished watching that not long ago because it comes out on Pluto TV for free, and I think it was like on a Saturday night. It was
Yeah.
like 11 or something like that at night. I turned the TV on. I'm like, holy crap, War Games is on. So I sat down and watched it,
It's
and
a
I was
great
laughing my
movie.
ass. I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, how the hell does this kid like have all this equipment back in the day? It's like kids sitting on like 50 G's worth of equipment from back then. You know? I'm just like, geez, man. These
Do
80s
you
movies,
want to play thermonuclear war?
these 80s movies were something else, dude. Sometimes you just don't have to ask. You just watch it, right? Just watch it.
Hand over fist saying Short Circuit would be a good remake with AI and today's tech. Johnny Five alive.
Yeah, man.
He's fallen in love with Ali Sheedy's character as he's singing "More Than a Woman."
You know which
More
one?
than a woman to me. But then again, you also have that one guy pretending to be Indian, but he's white.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember that. That wouldn't go over well today, man. But you know what? The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, that was a good one back in
Never
the
seen
day.
that one.
You need to watch that one. That
Do
one
we have
was
to
funny.
watch? Dude, I have been on a True Lies kick the last 2 months because it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
I have probably seen True Lies once every other week for the last 2 months.
Jeez. But I think you should watch The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think you would like that one.
Yeah.
It's an action-packed 80s film, right? And you just can't ask questions. It's kind of set in the future a little bit, and basically it's one big game show, right? And the prize is if you survive, you get your life, you get to live, kind of thing.
Wow.
So
very Hunger Games esque.
it is, dude, but it's like back in the 80s though, so I would highly recommend you go see that one.
Looking at mysa.com, it says a longtime news anchor has announced his retirement.
Oh, I saw that.
Phil Anaya of Ken's Five. By the way, I was Phil's producer for 1 year. Says notable San Antonio name is leaving the local TV news industry. Phil Anaya revealed he's parting with ways with Ken's Five, his home since 2011. I used to produce him on the weekends back in 2014 and 2015 when I jumped back into the media.
Yeah.
He is married to Isis Romero.
Yeah. He's going to call it quits.
Yeah.
He done after 14 years. Maybe he's just going to go and kind of do something different now. I mean, after you've done TV, and you're a news anchor or what have you,
right,
for a number of years, you kind of want to do something different, man. Maybe he's got something lined up.
Well, do you know what the thing is, man? And I've mentioned this to former news reporters and former radio personalities and whatnot. They always ask me, what should I do next, right? And in the media, you gravitate towards doing public relations, right? You become a public information officer for a school district. You'll see that whenever there's like a school shooting or someone gets arrested on the school, you see Maury Vasquez or you see, James Keith or all of these guys that used to be local broadcasters, right?
Yeah.
or they go to the hospitals, right? Or they go to security service like Randy Ralston and all that. And I keep on asking them, you know what you should be doing? You should go into finance. Make money off of your name, dude. Make money off of your name. Do you know who went into finance and is doing exceptionally well?
Oh,
This is a name blast from the past. She was a beauty contestant, like a beauty pageant contestant, like Miss USA type stuff. Remember
yeah.
Tiffany Mock
Oh, I
from
remember that.
KSAT in the 90s? Look up
Yeah.
Tiffany Mock real fast.
Okay, we'll look her up.
She was with KSAT. I used to produce her newscast back in the 90s. Tiffany Mock has been a financial advisor and planner for like 20 years.
Let me go ahead and show a picture of her.
I used to work out with her. She used to play basketball with me and my friends back in the day.
Telltale time.
No, she was really cool.
There she is.
Yeah, I think she's with Merrill Lynch, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yes,
Tiffany
yes.
Mock, my friends were in love with her. My friends were in love with her back in the day. But I would say, 3 or 4 times she'd go play basketball with us on Saturday mornings, just pick up ball. We used to play in leagues that were both men and women. Like you'd have like 3 guys and 2 girls in one team. She used to play with us. She used to do a fantastic job.
Nice. It's time, Mike. We got to go ahead and call it, brother. Got to get ready for work.
Yeah. Very, very nice. Drew Show ending the show by saying, I am serious and don't call me Shirley. Great airplane reference. Hey, man, thank you to all the listeners out there for the super chats today. Again, we're donating these to James Pledger, who turned 44 years old today. Again, his show is Monday through Friday. It's called Extra Innings on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM. I'm going to put $50 into the mix, Joe. Just text me how you want me to send that to you, Venmo or Cash App or Zelle or whatnot. And if we can hook up our guy Pledge. He's a fantastic guy. Joe, this was fun.
Yeah, man.
And they're asking the question of you, Joe. Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Oh, God. Dude.
Dude, Kareem was so good in that movie, by the way.
He was, man. And, Police Academy, now that you think about it, had so many one-liners, like you go back and you just start laughing at them now. They're so outrageous.
Oh, Police Academy. Going back to Police Academy, it's the moments. Like at the end of the first movie when the Commandant is at the podium and then his zipper gets undone. And then he just looks over at Mahoney.
Oh, man. Great.
No, that introduced us to Kim Cattrall, man. Well, actually, Porky's introduced us to Kim Cattrall, but she was
in Police Academy.
She was in Police Academy. You had Hightower, you had Jones with all the sound effects and whatnot. It was fantastic, man. What a great movie. I'm gonna watch one of them today. And by the way, everyone always gives crap about the sequels. Them going to Miami and all that stuff, dude. They were all good. I don't care what anybody says. And you know what? The ongoing trope, the ongoing thing of them going to the Blue Oyster Bar.
Oh, you can't get away with stuff like that no more. But back then it was funny. It was funny.
Joe, have a good day. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button on the way out. And she's talking about Hooks. Who was the black cop with the how she talked very shy? It was Hooks. Yeah. And then she ends it with, "Don't move, dirtbag." That's going to be a meme.
Yep. You can't be doing that, Mike. You're going to get fined.
Citizens on Patrol was good because of Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh.
The COP program. Who was that one fat guy? It was a COP one. The fat guy that was really nerdy, who always caused a scene behind him. Like he would cause car accidents. People would get hurt and fall because of him, but he never got hurt.
Name.
Oh my God, he was really good. And he and Bobcat Goldthwait didn't get along in the movie.
I remember that. Pour some out, man. Bobcat Goldthwait, he just fell off the face of the earth, man. I think he got
but wasn't he with Nikki Cox for a while?
I think he was, man.
Man, that's a great pull for Bobcat's looks, man.
Yeah, that dude wasn't much of a looker, man. Poor guy.
And why is Bobcat Goldthwait called Bobcat?
Why?
He went to Southwest Texas State University.
There you go. All right, man. We got to
That's
go.
what I heard. I'm looking that up right now. I heard that he was a Southwest guy.
Yeah.
Before it was Texas State.
Bring back Police Academy. All right, boys. We got to go, man.
I could be wrong. Everyone have a fantastic day. We'll be back tomorrow. Yep. Barbara. Henry Cavill coming and say the guy's name was Barbara. That's right.
Yeah,
he was a guy named Barbara.
Barbara. All right. We'll see you all tomorrow. We're out. Peace.
See ya.